All right, so we got Joe too. Okay, so we are a 7-member board. We are down 1 member. So, but we do have 6 members present. So we have established a quorum. For the March 24th, 2021 planning board meeting. Can everyone rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Adam, if you have the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, let's jump into it. I'll start by reading the notice regarding the online meeting. So pursuant to Executive Order number 202.1 issued by Governor Cuomo on March 12th, 2020, and advisories issued by federal, state, and local officials related to COVID-19 virus, the Planning Board will convene its March 24th, 2021 board meeting remotely as follows. The board meeting will commence at 7 p.m. and will be conducted through the use of Zoom, a web-based video conferencing tool with local desktop client and smartphone applications that will allow the planning board members and those with business before the board to participate electronically and remotely by audio or with or without a video connection. In order that members of the public can view the proceedings, this meeting will be live streamed on YouTube. Please note this meeting will be conducted remotely only and will be not held at Town Hall, which is currently closed. Pursuant to Executive Order number 202.1, this meeting will be recorded and transcribed to the town's website. So with that, we have a public hearing to start the meeting scheduled for 7 p.m. so we can get that started. So I will open the public hearing by reading the notice of public hearing. Please take notice that the Planning Board of the Town of East Greenbush will hold a public hearing on March 24th, 2021, beginning at 7 p.m. to consider the following matter. The Town of East Greenbush Planning Board shall conduct a public hearing pursuant to New York State Town Law, Section 274-B6 and Section 3.11.1 of the town's comprehensive zoning law on an application for a special use permit for the property located at 15 Troy Road, East Greenbush, New York, tax map number 166.7-6-5, which is zoned PPB. The applicant proposes a health medical office or clinic outpatient facility. The review of this proposed work requires a special use permit per the town's comprehensive zoning law, Section 2, Table 2A, use schedule, references a health medical offices or clinic outpatient. Said public hearing will be held on Wednesday, March 24th, 2021 at 7 p.m. via Zoom. At the above time and place, all interested parties will be given an opportunity to be heard by order of the Planning Board, Matt Maston, Chairman. Pursuant to Executive Order number 202.1 issued by Governor Cuomo on March 12, 2020, and advisories issued by federal, state, and local officials related to COVID-19 virus, the Planning Board will convene the public hearing remotely as follows. The public hearing will commence at 7 p.m. and shall be conducted through the use of Zoom, a web-based video conferencing tool with local desktop client and smartphone applications that will allow board members and the public to participate electronically and remotely by audio or with or without a video connection. The meeting would also be live streamed on the town's YouTube channel. Okay, so is the applicant present?
I believe so.
Oh yeah. All right. So if you guys want to just give a brief overview again, that'd be great.
Well, we're looking to use the space at 15 Troy Road for my chiropractic office. I believe George sent over some different plans as far as the signs and the parking goes, depending on what Adam had sent, trying to address those issues as best as we can. Obviously for the parking, we know that a waiver will have to be granted because we cannot, come up with the 5 individual parking lots for patients. I can park across the street, but there's 4 potential parking spots there, all with accessibility if we need to. I believe the landscaping, which was also a questionable thing at the last meeting, we have addressed in regards to the signage and the new sign dimensions, along with lighting for the sign. Which was all recommended as part of the site plan.
Thank you very much. Adam, do you have any other comment or question or comments relative to this project?
I did send an email around to Winter and George, as well as to the board. I think those were some of the major, I think parking and landscaping, the sign. One of the other things about Winter, what you just said, parking across the street, it seems like there's an issue with the zoning. That's an R2 zone. It's a vacant lot as far as I know.
Right.
And parking is not an allowed primary use in that zone. So I'm not sure that would fly without some kind of relief from the ZBA. Just pull up what I estimated 5 spaces. I believe the code requires for this type of use, I think it's like 5 spaces for every doctor and 1 for each employee. So there, I think Winter, you provided some information about your practice, and the space is, I
Right.
think, about 700 square feet or so.
Yeah, I don't have any employees, so it is just me. So I don't have to be concerned about the employee component of that, but
Those were the only 2 other things, in addition to some of the details about the landscaping requirements, the type of landscaping, that type of thing.
right. I don't know if you've had a chance to review and George sent it to me. So thank you, George, about, the landscaping around the signage, the remaining, trees that are on the property, apparently are all, very healthy, mature trees. I can't see why those would need to be leaving. The lighting won't interfere with any residential areas, so it doesn't shine into anybody else's home on the street. So I know a couple of bushes will be planted around that, some perennials. There's perennials that surround the outer ledge of the office. And obviously the parking itself doesn't face Route 4, which I know was a concern for some of the board at the last meeting, so.
All right, well, thank you. So we'll go to the board for any comment before we go to the public. We'll start with Ralph.
I was just curious. I didn't see the landscape plan that was provided. Was that something that we just received from George? Adam?
I am just looking through my email now. George, do you want to, I'm going to see if I can find it and share the screen. You can share your screen too if you have it. That would have been sent, George, or Winter today, correct?
Yes.
We have the picture of the sign. I just was curious if we had any sketch or anything on what you plan to do around the sign as far as the plantings.
So I don't have a sketch, didn't get that detailed. The plan was on each side to do like evergreens, like the cute little bushes, and then around it we'll just do normal plants around,
It'll be delineated with some type of edge and possible mulch around it.
Yeah, it was gonna be mulched. I didn't really know what was necessary, so I'm up for whatever you're gonna require. So yeah, if we want some edging, that's fine. We'll make it look nice, and it'll be lit from underneath. So we'll get the lighting that fit the code to shine up from underneath. So it'll be, what do we call that, externally lit, I guess.
Sure. Yeah. Just some actually uplights is what you're saying. Make
Yes.
them round up to shine
Yeah.
both sides of the sign.
Yeah,
We
we're
just
trying to just, other than making a couple plants in there, we're trying to disturb as little as we can. And I feel like that spot, there's some beautiful maples, and in the back are some oaks, wasn't looking to do anything crazy.
that's fine. I just think a sign with a delineated planting area underneath it or around it, I think presents a professional look, and something with evergreens that remain green throughout the year. And then you'll spot some annuals or whatever, or some perennials around to give it some life during the summer. I just think gives it a nice appearance.
That is the plan. Yes, it's almost exactly what I emailed to him, that type of plan.
Yeah, George, we'd like to see that. I mean, if you could update your your drawing to reflect that. Nothing against you or our trust in your project, but we've been burned recently
Yeah.
on another project that did not live up to the landscaping that was required.
I got you.
And
Oh, sorry.
no, the only other thing is that letter of recommendation, I thought was very nice that was provided.
Who provided one?
Winter or support letter we received from Mike Awansko,
Got it.
lives at
Oh.
1 Greenbush Avenue.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yes.
That's
All
all. I
right,
have.
Ralph, you good?
Thank you.
Kurt? Can't hear you, Kurt, if you're talking. Now you're on mute. Still can't hear you. Now you're not on mute, but I can't hear you. Kurt, we'll come back to you and we'll let you figure that out. Chris?
I just had a question. I was a little confused about the empty lot that you were proposing for parking, and I understand there's issues with that anyway, but is that across the street? That's not across Route 4. Is that across Greenbush Avenue?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
guessing, Matt, when your mother, was it your mother worked over at Melfi's?
Yeah, I give way too much information to these meetings.
I knew that, so, you know. But anyway, I mean, that's been parking since the 60s or something like that forever, right? There's just always been a through road or a through path that went over to Harrington. And there's just always been space over there that, as you know, when I worked over there, we'd park over on that lot. It's just a couple gravel spots, but it literally goes through it almost seems like a road because the police actually park over there when they're waiting for school to let out. They go and they park there and then they pull around. But you know, there's space for 3 or 4 cars there. That's just always been there forever. So we've just been using that. I guess the other question would be if she really needed a 5th spot, you know, since I'm next door at 2 Pittsfield Ave, and can that be her parking spot, like where she's parking in my parking space?
Right. If I needed to park my own car there.
Right,
Yeah.
if it became an issue, right, since I'm the landlord there and I own the building adjacent to it, I have plenty of parking here as well. So I don't know if that works or doesn't work. I don't know how that would be viewed.
Adam or Joe, would this would require zoning relief?
I think it would be more practical for the planning board to grant some kind of waiver on the parking than send it to the ZBA for relief on that vacant lot. I think that would probably delay them
For
much
interpretation?
longer than they want to be delayed.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Joe, but do you mean for more like an interpretation versus a variance? Or do you mean a variance?
Now, I had, did you hear me? I said it might be more practical for the planning board just to provide a waiver on the parking spot requirement rather than, as Adam suggested, send it to the ZBA for, I believe he thinks maybe an area variance or a use variance for that vacant lot for the 1 parking space. But that's just
Gotcha.
my opinion.
Yeah, I didn't hear you say to send it to them, or I thought you said to send it to them versus give relief. So that would be my preference as well. But
One thought too, if I might, is George, to your point about it having been used for 50, 70 plus years or so, if you can provide evidence, we'd have to provide you a little bit of guidance, but it could be considered a pre-existing non-conforming use as well.
he's probably
Yeah,
going to
good point, Adam.
minutes from the last meeting when I said that my mom worked there. All right, Kurt, do you have anything else? Oh, we didn't. Chris, sorry, do you have anything else?
I'm sad. Thank you.
Kurt, can you speak yet? You definitely cannot. You can text me if that works too.
And the chat is enabled too, Kurt.
Don Panton? Don, you're on mute. Nope, you're on mute again.
No comment. Kurt has no comment.
Okay. Don, unmute. You're on mute, Don.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, now you're good.
You can hear me now?
Yep.
No?
No, you're good.
My question was answered. I had the landscape question around the sign that Ralph brought up, and they answered it for me. So I'm okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
John Conway? You're on mute too.
Here we go.
There you go. You're good.
All
I
right,
got you.
thank you. I guess my concern was the same as a few other concerns here about how it's going to look from Route 4. And, you know, I'm very curious to see what the landscaping is going to be. So I'd like to take a look at that. And in terms of the parking, we're talking about the same parking that existed for Blue Skies Travel.
Yeah.
No way to expand that, not that we necessarily have to do that, but
There is some space to do it, but it's either getting closer to Route 4, which would then require people to back out of there onto Greenbush Ave closer to the intersection, which would kind of be a little crazy. If you went the other direction, then there's a big maple we'd have to take out. So it's possible, but then they'd be right in front of the apartment.
right.
So
I presume and Joe, tell me if I'm wrong, we can condition this to allow for, if the board agreed to it, to the parking spots that fit now and to prevent any future parking spots without a site plan, right?
Yeah, and I think especially with special use permits, what we've done in the past when people are running small businesses with limited parking is just to condition that to limit how many customers or patients they have there at a certain time.
At the moment, and which is in general, even prior to COVID, I only see 1 to 2 patients at a time, generally anyway, possibly a third if it's very busy or if someone shows up exceptionally early or late, because I do have a very, very small practice and I like it that way. So,
Right. So if there is just a minimum of 5 spaces, perhaps the board will condition that for the approval of the special use permit.
Okay.
That's something to consider.
Yeah, and I just want to pipe in, given the fact that she's the only employee there, with the maximum of 3 customers at one time, I really think there isn't an issue with the parking that's existing.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think as long as you guys get the landscaping on your drawing, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Try the issue and get that squared away.
easy. I want it to look good too.
Kurt, you called back in. Can you talk now?
Can I talk now?
Good to go.
All right. No comment.
What'd you say?
Great.
All right, great. So now we'll open up to the public. Do we have anyone in the public that would like to speak on the 15 Troy Road special use permit?
Matt, I'll just run through the folks on the line here.
Yep.
First person is iPad. iPad, would you like to make a comment?
It's a very modern name.
Hello. Are we here?
Yes.
Okay, it's Ricky and Marianne Craw.
Would you like to make a comment on this for the public hearing for the record?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I thought we're here for the garage thing. Maybe I jumped in too soon.
No, sorry.
Sorry.
Because we're doing it virtually, we're just going to go through everyone that's
I'm
on
sorry.
the call. You can get comments, but so you're not for or against, you don't really care.
Us, no, we're fine with it.
All right.
Thank you
great.
very much.
You're welcome.
Then we have, or I can do this too, I guess. So Mike Christo, do you have anything?
Just coincidentally, because we happen to be on the same meeting, I'm actually a neighbor. I'm fine with it. The Blogs have always been good neighbors up in this area. It's a great location. And I'm universally supportive of small businesses anyway. I wish Winter all the best of luck. I'm down the hill and I think it's a great thing. So as
Thank
far as
you.
landscaping goes, the traffic goes so fast on Route 4. It only inures to her benefit to have more landscaping, so she stands out a little bit better. So I think everything that you did is fine. I'm very supportive. I wish her the best.
Thank you.
Right. Look at that, Winter and George. Timing worked in your favor as far as scheduling.
That's-
We've delayed Mike and got him here to this meeting to help you guys out.
I appreciate any lucks passed my way.
Kevin Boswell. Going once, going twice.
We are here for the other application.
All right.
Thank
So you're in support, sounds like. Jessica Frey? And then, okay. Surya, I know what you're here for, so I'm not sure that you have any comment. And then Alvaro Gonzalez, is it Gonzalez?
Yeah, he's also with the same application, so he's for it as well.
All right, so resounding support for your chiropractic business.
Well, I have been in East Greenbush for almost 14 years now, so just a small relocation. That's all.
We're very happy to have you.
Well, I hope so.
I'm just going to go through formalities now. Is there anyone in the public that would like to speak against the 15 Troy Road special use permit? Is there anyone in the public that would like to speak against the 15 Troy Road special use permit? Finally, is there anyone in the public that would like to speak against the 15 Troy Road special use permit? Is there anyone like to speak for the 15 Troy Road special use permit? Is there anyone that would like to speak for the 15 Troy Road special use permit? And finally, is there anyone that would like to speak for the 15 Troy Road special use permit? With that, Adam, we don't have anyone, right?
That's right.
With that, I'm going to make a motion to
Close.
close the public hearing. Joe, give me time, man. I was going to get it.
Second,
Sorry.
Is that Chris? I think.
yes,
Second by Chris Horn.
Roll call as follows: Chairman Maston,
Yes.
Mr. Viola,
Yes.
Mr. Bergman,
Yes.
Ms. Horn,
yes,
Mr. Panton,
Yes.
Mr. Conway.
Yes.
Motion carried by 6-0 vote.
So the next item on the agenda is to review the special use permit. And I don't know if Adam, have you talked to the applicant? We were going to wait till the next meeting, I think, so you guys can get your drawing squared away. Is that correct?
Yeah, and the other thing too is to amend your application, and we'll work with you on this for site plan modification as well. There's an additional $200 fee, and then just an amended application. Allison or myself will work with you to get that in.
Do you guys have any other comments or questions for us?
I'm sorry, do we need to do anything special for a waiver for the parking under these circumstances?
Nope, it'll be included in your resolution. So
Okay.
I think next meeting, as long as we get the drawing up to date and, you know, whatever is outstanding with Adam and Allison, I think you should be good to go next meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right. Have a great night.
You
Thanks for
guys
coming.
too. Thanks.
Next, we'll move on to 2107 Christo Old Troy Road for a lot line adjustment. So we got Mike Christo here. You want to give a brief presentation? You're on mute, Mike.
I don't know really where we are in the process. We discussed it the other day, and I guess we're not going with the lot line adjustment, or did you change that? Are we going with the minor subdivision? We're just looking to move a lot line to create enough road frontage for my father to build a house on property that he owns. The map that's on file with the county makes it look like that lot is part of my lot. And I don't know if that's what you're talking about subdividing, but I don't own that. All the property in question is owned by my father. But if we have to go to the minor subdivision route, whatever it takes to get it done is fine with me.
Adam, you want, or Joe, maybe you can give
Yeah.
feedback.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, Adam, but you probably have know more about this than anybody. But I think based on whatever drawing was on file with the county, that it needed to be reclassified as a minor subdivision. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I think, Joe, after our discussion, the requirement is that we start from the most recently recorded plat that's on file with Rensselaer County in this case. So there were two plats at least. I think there's another historical plat that might be involved, but there was a 92 or 94 that shows the lot, Mike, that your house is on, and then remaining lands of Christo. And then there was another drawing done and filed, approved by the town's planning board at the time in 2002 that shows 4 lots. And it shows, including the neighbor to the south, Joe Kelly, that lot coming off of that piece. And then the lot that is in question is actually a part of the lot that's across the street, Mike, from your current residence. And then there's one other lot further, I think it's to the north, that has frontage exclusively on Old Troy Road. So that, because the 2002 plat, which is the most recent official plat that's on file, because that plat doesn't show the current lot as existing, there is no lot line to adjust, and the lot needs to be created. It does not appear to have ever been created by the town's planning board, which has that authority. Is that a decent summary, Joe, Matt?
Yeah, I think so. So the intent tonight is to, assuming no one has any major comments or questions, is to accept the sketch plat, and we're going to schedule a public hearing for April 14th. So Mike, unless you have anything else, I'll roll through the planning board members and see if there are any further comments or questions.
No, that's fine.
Okay, Ralph?
Oh, I'm fine. I just hope that we do whatever we can to get this expedited. So we can get this resolved.
Yes, I don't disagree. I think this is something that was approved quite a while ago that we just are trying to get cleaned up, which is certainly unfortunate and not to the benefit of Mr. Christo.
So Adam, what you're saying is that the plat that Kevin Brady provided was the last one that was actually in Rensselaer County?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
It has Kevin's name on it. Yeah.
Yeah, he's passed away for quite some time now. Thank you.
Ralph. Kurt?
No, I have no comments. No, hopefully move this along.
Chris?
Yep, I agree. Want to keep this moving. No comments.
All right, Don?
I'll move as fast as possible. No comments otherwise.
John Conway?
Yeah, no comments on my part.
Okay, so with that, I'll make a motion for a sketch plat classification in accordance with Article 4, Section 2B of the Town of East Greenbush Land Subdivision Regulations. The Town of East Greenbush Planning Board hereby classifies the sketch plat previously submitted as a minor subdivision. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Panton.
Roll call as follows, Chairman Maston,
Yes.
Mr. Viola,
Yes.
Mr. Bergman,
Yes.
Ms. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Panton,
Yes.
Mr. Conway,
Yes.
motion carried by 6-0 vote.
Next, I'll make a motion for the planning board to declare its intent to seek lead agency and initiate a coordinated review under SECR. The planning board hereby declares its intent to seek lead agency status in connection with a coordinated review under SECR. The planning board hereby directs that notices to all involved / interested agencies requesting their consent to designation of the planning board as a lead agency for SECR review of the project. The following involved and/or interested agencies under SECR have been identified: Town of East Greenwich Department of Public Works, East Greenwich Fire District Number 3, New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, Rensselaer County Department of Public Health. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Horn.
Roll call as follows. Chairman Maston,
Yes.
Mr. Viola,
Yes.
Mr. Bergman,
Yes.
Ms. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Panton,
Yes.
Mr. Conway,
Yes.
motion carried by 6-0 vote.
And next, I'll make a motion to schedule a public hearing. A public hearing is hereby scheduled for April 14th, 2021 at the East Greenwich Town Hall or by virtual means at 7:00 PM. Do I have a second?
Second.
I'll second.
I got Ralph got it, I think.
Roll call as follows. Chairman Maston,
Yes.
Mr. Viola,
Yes.
Mr. Bergman,
Yes.
Ms. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Panton,
Yes.
Mr. Conway,
Yes.
motion carried by 6-0 vote.
All right. Thanks, Mike. So we'll see you on the 14th. And hopefully we get this squared away.
Thanks, everybody. Appreciate
And
it.
hopefully, I'm confident we will. We'll get it squared away for you.
I'm sure it will. I appreciate your help.
Yep. Next, we have 1408 Deer Pond Elliott Road for a major 62 lot subdivision. This is to grant an extension for the plat approval. So I think we all are familiar with this project. Is it Surya you're representing right now?
Yeah, I'm representing, and I think our engineers are also there.
Who else is on the project? Kevin Boswell?
Yes, I'm here and Alvaro Gonzalez is here as well.
So where are we at with this?
We received the comments back from the town on March 5th. And today we resubmitted a complete package responding to all the comments relating to the SWIP, the plans, and the revised bonding estimate. So we've completed everything, resubmitted it. And we'd like to thank all of your professionals and Adam for assisting us. They've been very, very accommodating of their time. And we believe we have a very comprehensive and complete review back into the town.
So when would you expect that your project's ready? You think the documents you submitted today, are you confident that they'll be final and ready for approval?
Yes, yes, we are.
So our intent today was in a show of good faith to give our TDE time to review what was submitted today, is to give another time extension. While I'm not happy about my opinion on this, I'm inclined to offer it, but we'll go through the board and ask opinions. So, Ralph?
I have the same feelings, but I'm inclined to grant them an additional last time extension.
Joe, can we condition this to say that this is the last one? Because at this point, I feel like
Well,
at this point, I feel like my words mean nothing.
No, I think this agreement is by mutual consent, and we're agreeing to it so the town's TDEs have enough time to do a thorough review of the project.
Mr. Chairman and members of the board, I would just comment that on March 5th, we did receive a 7-page letter. We did take the time to go through it in a comprehensive manner, had Zoom calls. We have a point-by-point response letter that is it's approximately 15 pages. Again, revised SWIP, revised plans. We believe that any comments that may remain are ministerial, if at all. So we do appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, I appreciate that. The frustration just comes from the fact that the project's 7 years old.
Yeah, and keep in mind, they did submit an application for final plat approval, and essentially the regulations require the board to either deny or approve it within 45 days. And we just want to make sure that the town has enough time to give it a thorough review.
Yep. All right. Makes sense.
Mr. Boswell, one quick question. It's been so long. What's the intent with the pond that's usually algaed over 10 months out of the year?
I would have to defer that to the applicant. I can tell you that we have our SWIP has 9 phases of building out the infrastructure around the pond, and but I would have to defer to the applicant as far as the specifics on the pond. I don't know.
I think it would. I think it would be a terrible mistake if we went ahead and granted this extension, and that pond remained stagnant for another year or two before the project gets off the ground.
Excuse me, sir. The pond belongs to a different lot. That is 207 Elliott Road is the house I purchased for the sake of staying there to support this project. And that is not a part of this 93-acre lot. But if you have any suggestions to be made for the improvement of the pond, I welcome it and I'll do it. But that's not a part of the project.
Well, I
welcome. I mean, because much of the time.
Excuse me, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I thought at one time, I know when this project is brought before us numerous times, I've asked about the pond and I was told that it would be taken care of during the construction process.
Right.
You honestly have not lived there for quite some time. I live directly across the street from your home. Your house has been vacant. You are not an East Greenbush resident as far as your residency, your permanent residency. You are not there the majority of the time, even though you've mentioned that in several of our meetings. And I would like to know what your intention is with that pond, or I will vote no in regards to this extension.
I would like to know what actually you want me to do. So far, I have not got any suggestions from anyone as to what we should do. We'll do it. It's not.
You're going to need some type of filtration or aeration system in that pond.
Okay, it will be done. I didn't have any constructive suggestion from anyone that what we had to do, but that's not a part of the project. But if you say that as a resident of, yes, I am a senior citizen, I want to stay there, but because of the COVID, I'm not able to come there. But when I come there, I'll definitely take care of it. And right now, if you give me some constructive suggestion, I'll definitely implement it. It's not a problem at all. But honestly, I don't know what I am expected to do. Please let me know. I will do it.
This is the first time that I wasn't aware that the home and the pond was not part of this whole project.
That home, I got it. I purchased.
I'm sorry for my ignorance.
That home I purchased only to stay there to support the project. It is not a part of the project.
Yeah, but you own both lots, right? So I think that's why it's called Deer Pond, right?
Yeah, we just called it Deer Pond because of the deer and.
No, I was under the impression it was part of the project too.
No. But I mean, as a resident, even though I don't stay there all the time, but I am a resident. I spend a lot to maintain that place. I am ready to do whatever is needed to improve the condition of the pond. I have not received any suggestion, but I'll do it. If you tell me that, I think I'll consult Adam, and whatever is to be done, we'll do it. It is not compared to what I'm spending on this project. That's nothing. I can do it right away.
Okay, Ralph, do you have anything else?
No. But I will not vote for the extension.
Okay. Kurt?
No, Mike, again, my concerns were also the extension, the duration of this, and then I was not that familiar with the pond area, but I'd support that. If for an extension, I would, if it's been 7 years, I'll have one more extension, but it's got to have a hard stop to it.
What is 45 days from today would be our first meeting in May, right?
Yeah, but the 45 days, Matt, started when the last time this project was in front of us for final plat, and which I think was the first meeting in March, right? Earlier this month, or was it the last meeting of February? It was the last meeting of February, right?
It was the last meeting in February.
So the extension, I'd have to go back and recalculate it, but I think the extension.
Oh, so the extension goes until April 14th.
Right, and the 45-day period expires on like the 10th or 11th, I think, of next month. So
Joe, what language would you use to condition that this is the final extension? Or nothing?
Haven't we already done that? I thought we did that the last time around.
Hold on,
No.
let me just go through and take a look.
We told them that it would be the last one. Kurt, you have anything else? Chris?
Yeah, I'm just a little shocked that we're sitting here talking about this again. We said what was it, September, that it was the last extension. We've granted 2 more last extensions, if last I count. And unless somebody can, we're now almost at the end of March. This is just crazy. Unless someone can explain to me that someone on the East Greenbush staff has caused a delay that was out of the control of the applicant, then I am not for another extension.
May I just comment 1 second?
Yeah, please.
Mr.
Please,
Chairman?
if you could explain if you could reply to what Chris just said, that'd be great.
The East Greenbush staff has been extremely helpful, extremely professional, and I believe we have as well. At the last meeting, what happened was we had a timely submission of everything that we were known to had to have addressed at that time. And at that time, the board's professionals went back and said, we want some time to make sure that this is right. And it was really driven by the board's professionals at that time to make sure they had adequate time to review the submission that was made in a timely manner prior to the February meeting. And that's how we got to the review letter of March 5th. And in March 5th, candidly, there were some new items, but that's fine. We went through them. We were diligent. Again, we worked with your professionals. They're excellent. And we addressed them. And we did the only thing we could have. And that was, we worked extremely hard to get to this point where we could sit here tonight and say, we got your comments in a 7-page letter 2.5 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, and we have a complete submission back in. So we were ready back in February for what we thought were all of the comments we had. And now we're only responding to those additional comments that were generated after your staff asked for it. And it makes perfect sense. The plans are better because of what has happened in the past 30 to 40 days. It's a better set of plans. And it's really very good collaboration that happened. It's through no fault of neither the staff nor our office, I would offer.
Adam, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would. You know, the plans like had been kicking around for a while, and most of the attention was focused on the water, the major regulatory approvals, right? The water system, the sewer system, and the roadway. And you know, once we had a final submission, I think the town also needed to be able to say that we were fine with the plans, that, you know, because typically the board will have the TDE, you know, sign off on the plans, that there's just minor technical comments remaining. So, you know, we went back, there's a new commissioner of public works. We made sure that he was involved. You know, Henry's been involved throughout. And, you know, we spent, I think I spent a total of 8 hours looking at the revised set, and Henry spent some time, and Commissioner of Public Works and some of his staffs, we met, you know, for like 4 hours on a Friday morning. So I feel like that was part of what our role, our responsibility to this board, to the town, to make sure that when these plans are filed, you know, they're as good as they can be. They have all the comments addressed. They're in a shape that's ready for you guys.
Yeah, and I think I need to clarify for the board and make a distinction between the extensions that were granted before. Those 90-day extensions were for the applicant to submit their final plat, their final application for the plat. They've done that. Once that's submitted, it's then the planning board's duty to act on that plat within 45 days. Either approve it, deny it, conditionally approve it. It's that which we're looking to mutually agree to extend that 45-day period. Because at this point, the board, the TDEs need a little bit more time to review the plans, make sure everything's all set. And we don't want the board to act on anything in which they don't have all the information. So I just wanted to make that distinction, that this mutual extension is different from those that were granted before.
In this extension, if it's not voted on, the project gets automatically approved, right? Based on the zoning law. Joe?
Yes, that's right. Under section
5E2.
5E2. Yep. So it's actually in the board's best interest, for my legal opinion, to grant this extension.
All right. Chris, do you have anything else?
So just to be clear, Adam, what you're saying is that it's really the town of East Greenbush that has caused the need for this extension at this point.
Well, I think that I don't think that myself or the TDE could recommend approving a final plat without having gone through it in sufficient detail. So in that sense, we did, you know, we are responsible for some of this delay, you know, absolutely. I mean, we turned those comments around real quick, you know. I mean, March 5th, after that was, you know, I forget however many days, not very many days, you know, after the 24th meeting.
Yeah, essentially the vote here is a request from the town to extend it. So I guess if that answers that. The town would like to extend it.
Yeah, and I think 40.
Go ahead, Joe.
45 days is a pretty short time period for the town and the TDs to conduct a thorough review, provide comments back to the applicant, and get everything sorted out. So we just want to make sure there's enough time to make sure that it's an approvable project, as well as to, you know, review, draft a resolution, and make sure everything is in there that needs to be in there.
Chris, anything else?
Nope.
All right, Don?
Based on what I've heard, I'll go another extension.
Okay, anything else?
No, that's it.
John?
Well, I'm the new guy here, so I think maybe I have a little more patience than the rest of the board members, but I can hear your frustration here. But frankly, I'm having a hard time seeing that there's any real alternative to not going ahead now and letting the TDEs take a look at this.
Okay. Anything else from you, John?
That's it.
All right, thank you. All right.
I did have one, Matt, I did have one question. Joe, are you saying that the 45 days then, is that something that you think is achievable for the applicant?
I think based on what we've heard tonight, based on my conversations with Adam, based on the correspondence that's going back and forth, I believe that to be the case.
All right.
Yeah, and again, if we don't, unless everyone votes no, it's going to get approved by default.
Yeah, and it's actually in the town's best interest, it's in the applicant's best interest to make sure that there is enough time to have it thoroughly reviewed. Because if this period of time elapses, then the project is essentially approved by default, which the town doesn't want.
Any other comments or questions? Okay, with that, I'll make a motion that whereas the town of East Grimmer's Planning Board hereby acknowledges that in accordance with Article 3, Section 5E2 of the town of East Grimbush land subdivision regulations, both parties mutually consent to an extension of the 45-day time for the planning board to act by resolution on the final plat submission for the subject project and does hereby grant said extension until April 14th, 2021. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Panton.
Roll call as follows. Chairman Maston,
Yes.
Mr. Viola,
No.
Mr. Bergman,
Yes.
Ms. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Panton,
Yes.
Mr. Conway.
Yes.
Motion carried by a 5-0-1 vote.
See you on the 14th, or then we don't see you again. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
For the record, that was my first ever consenting vote, so we will, on the 14th, we're definitely not going to vote again,
Thank you.
unless you're ready.
Good night.
Next, we have 2108 45 Acorn Ave for a lot line adjustment. So is the applicant on?
Hello.
Who
Hello.
said no?
Hello. You here?
Is that iPad?
All right.
Adam, is the applicant on?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Do you have anything you can present to us? Or Adam, do you have it that you can access?
Yeah, I'll pull up the, let me pull up the most recent plan. The board has not seen this yet, correct?
This is the first time I recall seeing it. So if you want to start by letting us know what you're trying to achieve before Adam, or while Adam pulls the drawing up, that'd be great.
Well, I'm looking to put up a garage and I'm looking to use Newberry Street for the driveway. And well, we got to do a lot line adjustment to bring the new piece of property in with my piece of property.
So it looks like from the resolution that you want to do a lot line adjustment, but it's not going to meet the zoning law. Is that correct, Adam?
Yeah, that's the primary issue is the double frontage driveway. So under the code, the planning board is, and Joe, please jump in. The planning board is allowed to create double frontage lots, but and actually, in fact, it must do that if one is to be created with its approval. But the code requires that the driveway or garage access be on only one street. So in this case, and I don't have, let me pull up the proposed drawing. This is it. Yeah. So in this case, the existing house, and so just to step back 1 second, the other issue here, which is why Ricky is requesting a lot line adjustment, is you cannot have, right now these are separate parcels, and you cannot have a garage as a principal use on a parcel in this zone. So the idea is, okay, we'll combine them, but then you run into the double frontage issue. And because as combined, the lot would effectively violate that provision of the code. It would have access up here on Acorn and another access down here on is this Newberry?
Yes, Newberry.
Okay. So it needs most likely an area variance. And there's the section in the code that's referenced in the New York State town law allows a direct appeal from the planning board to the ZBA, or actually by the applicant after they submit an application to the ZBA, bypassing the need for like an administrative decision by the code enforcement official if it's part of a subdivision and the board, and it's not, the board cannot approve it as is, but if they get the relief from the ZBA, the applicant, the board could then approve it. So that's kind of where we are.
So our intent tonight is to classify the sketch plat as a lot line adjustment and then also refer it to the zoning board for their opinion. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So we'll go through the. board
Well,
now.
refer it to the zoning board for a potential area variance, Matt.
Okay. But yeah, all right. So we'll have two motions. One's to classify the sketch plat and the other one to just refer it to the zoning board. Ralph, any comments or questions?
Yep.
Not at this time, thank you.
Kurt? Is he on mute? I can't see him.
There we go. I do. Now this garage, is this going to be a 1-story garage, 2-story garage? What, and how many square feet is it?
It's gonna be 1,200 square feet, and it's gonna have an upstairs storage.
Upstairs storage. Is there any okay. Is there any future intent on turning this into a residential building?
No.
Okay. All right.
No, it's just gonna be a garage for me to do a little tinkering in.
Kurt, anything else?
Nothing else. Thank you.
Thank you. Chris?
Nothing, thank you.
John?
Is the garage going to be insulated? I had a question on that.
Well, eventually, yeah.
And of course, then you'll have a heating system too, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Anything else, Tom?
No, I'm good.
John Conway?
Well, I'm a little hesitant just to throw this to the ZBA because I think there are an awful lot of issues here. I think, something else I'd be concerned about is the size of an accessory building, if that's going to be an issue, if they're looking at one lot. That is quite a sizable garage at 20 by 40, or 30 by 40. But be that as it may, I understand that you're planning on keeping both garages for use.
Yeah, well, the one at my house is, to park the cars in. of cars.
It's an attached garage.
Yeah,
Right, and then this here, is out back, because I take it with cars. And I'm retiring, and that's what,
It's just for personal use. It's not commercial.
okay. And it has a rather small vehicular entrance, is that right? It's like,
yeah, it's only a 10 by 10.
so it's a kind of a one-story, one-car opening and a lot of room inside.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of tools.
Are you gonna run any sewer or water into this building?
That I don't know whether I'm going to or not. I would like to, but probably never get to it.
Yeah, and that kind of leads me to my other area of concern here, which is Newberry Street. Just how does the driveway, the proposed new driveway, connect to Newberry Street?
Well, I sent, no, there's a newer one than that.
Yeah, Ricky, it may
That's not
take,
it.
No, that's not it. The drive, I sent it yesterday to you, I believe.
yeah, I did have some trouble with those attachments. Let me see if I can pull it up here while you guys are talking.
So that area to be conveyed to the town of East Greenbush, that's not accurate?
No, well, that's not getting conveyed to the town. That's gonna be the driveway because that's our, I guess, our half of the road there.
And
Yeah,
is
we-
that the paved portion of Newberry Street, or does the pavement end at that point?
It ends, and then my property starts.
I see.
We did forward a letter. Hopefully you got that from the attorney.
Yes.
Regarding the roadway.
Yes, we've seen that, I think.
He's trying to bring up the email that didn't go over.
Redo this share here. So this is it.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention too, so we've got at least, there's probably a 45 to 60 day ZBA process and one more meeting too. So once the ZBA makes a decision, so the board isn't being asked to approve this tonight, just to be clear.
Right. I guess my thing is I just hate to, just dump this on my former colleagues at the zoning board, but I understand the logic here that maybe it's best that they sort through these issues first and then have it come back to us.
So do you own I see where you're gonna connect to Newberry. Do you own another parcel on that other 90-foot line?
Well, I own
90 feet frontage, right?
the 90 feet. I own that on Newberry, and I own the other part on Acorn.
So
Yeah, I don't see an area where we,
that rectangle that's gonna connect to Newberry's, you own that property?
Yeah, that's what I sent the letter over because of the, right, that we own to the middle of the road.
Okay, user road. Okay.
Yeah. It's a lot on a filed map, so the
Paper
attorney.
Street at that point.
yeah, I think we have identified that this scenario will potentially violate the zoning law. So I think that's that's one of the purposes of the zoning board, right? To review and make decisions.
Sooner or later.
Before you came to this process. What's that?
Matt, do we have a referral though, that it looks like we have on new ZBA referrals that someone needs to make a report to the ZBA on this? Or is that something else?
Did we?
Well, I put the application in.
Yeah, that must be it. I don't have it.
I didn't put the application in because I thought I had to wait till after this meeting.
No, that the referral would be, that's right, Chris. Tonight, the board should anticipate assigning, because by submitting this application, and the planning board making this referral, it's ready for the ZBA. So the board, and Joe, please, jump in here too. The board should make an assignment to do a referral to the ZBA concerning this proposal, just like any other area variance or use variance.
Yeah, I agree.
Do we have to agree to joining the lots in order to do that? Or is that something that comes after the zoning issues are sorted through?
Comes after, I believe. I don't think we have to agree to any of it. Essentially, we're accepting a sketch plat, but that is just, really accepting the application to a certain extent. Actually, we're classifying the sketch plat. We're not even accepting it. And then referring it to the zoning board. Correct, Joe? Adam?
Yeah, acknowledging receipt of the application for a lot line adjustment, classifying it as a lot line adjustment, and then making a referral to the CBA for a potential area variance for 2 egresses on separate streets.
John, anything else?
No, that's it. I think I've got all my questions answered.
Okay. With that,
One more question. Sorry, Matt.
Go ahead.
How are you picking up electricity for this? Where's that going to run from?
Well, I'm either gonna run it from my house unless I can have it run in down Newbury. I don't know which way, is gonna be more feasible.
All right, so, and then if you run it from your house, you'll probably have to put a pole in.
Well, everything's underground to my house now.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you.
Kurt, you're good?
I'm good. Thank you. No more questions.
So is the next step, it goes to the zoning board? Is that what happens next?
Yep, we're gonna vote on it now, and then someone from the planning board will make a visit, take a look at it, make a recommendation, and ultimately it'll go to the zoning board as well.
Okay.
All right, you guys have any more questions?
Do you, Ricky?
Now the application for the zoning board, now do I send that in now?
Allison, what's the time frame? Can he send it in now, or Adam?
Ricky, I'll touch base with you tomorrow. I have to send you a fee letter for the application fee and all the certifieds that are involved. So once you get the fee letter, then you can submit the application with the fee.
Okay.
All right.
Yep.
All right, with that, I'll make a motion to classify the sketch plat for 2108. Town of East Greenbush Planning Board hereby classifies the sketch plat dated January 14, 2021, prepared by Hirschberg and Hirschberg as a lot line adjustment in accordance with Article 4, Section 2B of the Town of East Greenbush Land Subdivision Regulations. Do I have a second?
Thank you.
Second by Mr. Bergman.
Roll call as follows, Chairman Maston,
Yes.
Mr. Moore. Sorry,
He's
Mr. Viola.
He's no longer on the board.
I know, it's the wrong sheet. Mr. Viola?
Yes.
Mr. Bergman?
Yes.
Ms. Horn?
Yes.
Mr. Panton?
Yes.
Mr. Conway?
Yes.
Motion carried by a 6-0 vote.
Next, I'll make a motion to refer this 2108 to the zoning board. The Town of East Greenbush Planning Board hereby finds that the plat as proposed would violate section 2.5.1.d.03.b of the town's comprehensive zoning law, and hereby refers this project to the zoning board of appeals in accordance with town law section 277 subsection 6. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
second by Mr. Pan.
Roll call as follows, Chairman Maston,
Yes.
Mr. Viola,
Ralph, are you there?
Yes. Yes.
Mr. Bergman,
Yes.
Ms. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Panton,
Yes.
Mr. Conway.
Yes.
Motion carried by 6-0 vote.
All right, thank you very much. See you soon. Next, we go on to 2109. Is it Frey? For Cream Retro at 350. What's that? Looks like you're unmuted now. Oh, can't hear you. Yep, still can't hear. Adam, do you know what this project is for while she can figure out her audio?
Yeah, so it's a minor site plan modification for a retail use and indoor storage of merchandise. Jessica, you may try to dial in with your phone. I can text you the invite here if you give me 1 second. Or excuse me, chat you the invite. To everyone.
Can't wait to be back in person.
You should have that the number in there.
Very suspicious about Joe Slater not doing video anymore. He's probably on his treadmill. He did that in one.
I've seen him around the neighborhood. He does exist.
Does he?
Well, I'm a father of 3 young kids. I got to multitask.
Very true.
So let me I'll put up the letter I sent here. You guys should have seen this as well. The proposal, it's in the B1 zone. I believe it's 349 Columbia Turnpike. There are 2 structures. They're separate with a small aisle between them. I think one is about a 1,500 square foot or so house. Actually, it's more like, here we go. 1,400, and I think the retail space is about I think I need to unmute her. Ask to unmute. Is about 1,500 square feet. There is most of the site is paved. There's a small area in the rear that is most likely grass. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but so 351 Town Hall is 225, right? Columbia Turnpike.
Yes.
Hello?
Yep.
Oh, I got it. I'm so sorry. Oh,
You might have to mute your computer now, though, because we're getting some feedback.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Hold on. Oh, I think I got it.
Yep, you're good.
Okay. Okay, hi.
351 is whereabout? Is that?
It's the old tattoo parlor.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was Hardcore Inc. There's a house next door, and we're trying to occupy the space to the right. It's a retail space. We run an online clothing business, so we're just trying to expand our online clothing business, basically store the clothing there, maybe offer some in-person retail eventually, but right now we're only online.
Okay.
But yeah, I know you were talking about the parking behind. We were going to address the parking with you guys. I know you said no parking out front. We have like half of the lot. Joe Zappone owns it. So he said half of it would be for the house and half would be for us. So we have the whole behind to do any parking that you guys feel would be like more appropriate. We tried to get some old plans to view what was there previously with Hardcore Inc., but we couldn't access them. So we just kind of like went off what we thought would work for the site plan.
Oh, is this near what was Selena's and now Sri CM?
No.
No. No, it's across from where Tegan's used to be, Matt. It's in
Okay.
that little, there's a residential apartment and then there's a retail spot.
Okay.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
That's just down from Jiffy Lube?
it's across the street.
If you look up to the left, you're gonna see where Sal's, well, now he's past it, but Sal's Barber Shop.
Yeah.
Is very close. And Corellis's Pit. Or not.
Got it. Yep. No, I know.
Yeah, so that was Sal's up to the top left, upper left. And then it was a pipe shop next door to it. Yeah, Ralph, go ahead.
I visited the site today, and I know the building's been vacant for quite some time, and I really would like to see it occupied, but there really are a lot of issues there. First off, there's no way that you can park in front of the building, which I know that's been presented to you. The way that curb cut is, you probably get only one car actually parallel to 9 and 20. That's the only parking that you'll ever get in front of the retail space. And in driving around back, there are some spots for parking, but there isn't a rear entrance. So I don't know what good that parking is going to do as far as getting a truck back there and unloading your goods to bring it to the store.
Right. Honestly, we just have T-shirts. We'd probably just bring them through the front door. We don't really have like a truck unloading or anything like that. Like right now it's all going in my car. I have a little Kia.
Yeah.
That I transport the stuff in. So we really wouldn't have like a loading dock per se. And if there were customers inside, there would probably only be one max at a time. Like I said, we're based online right now, so we really don't have anything like retail in person set up. We're looking to expand, but just really just a place to store all the stuff. It's taken over my apartment. So
Yeah, like I said, I'd like to see someone in there, other than using it as a storage facility that you just drop stuff off and bring it to the
Right.
UPS or whatever. Even just getting a UPS truck in there, I think you're gonna have some challenges. But
Right.
when you mentioned possible retail, it's a tough spot, and I think it's gonna take some real planning to see how, in fact, you're ever going to get any parking, or any way you're gonna get any retail movement in and out of that store.
Right.
It's a tough spot, and in back, there is some asphalt there, but towards the back of the lot, it is in disrepair. It's not like you can, you show 10 parking spots laid out there. At least 3 or 4 of them probably are not safe currently. You've got a
Yeah.
fire pit back there. There's some parking, there's some picnic tables back there.
Yeah, we hired someone to draft the site plan. Honestly, I've never done this before. We were just trying to like rent the space. So when we were told we had to do a site plan and everything, we tried to hire somebody to actually draft something for us because I'm not familiar with the site plan.
Yeah.
But I think he thought there would be enough for 15, but it honestly doesn't look like it. To me, I'm looking at the picture that you're showing. But like, since there was Hardcore Inc. there, would we be able to use the same parking that they used when they were operational? They were a retail tattoo parlor. They sold clothing items, and I went there to get tattooed when I was younger. They had parking in the back and the front. Honestly, they were in the front too, but they had spots. I'm not sure if there's anything painted on the back, like where their spots were, but we weren't able to like access what they had drafted up previously, so we just kind of winged it.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
currently isn't any parking, marking,
Yeah.
any stripings at all on the site.
Yeah.
You know, I'd love to see you get in there. I just,
Mm-hmm.
I think you've got some issues as far as how many cars you're actually going to get in the front there. You know, you show the cars parked perpendicular to the building. There's no way you can do that with that curb cut there. You know, if one car parked there, then you wouldn't be able to get access from one curb cut to the other. I actually placed my vehicle parallel to 9 and 20, and it basically took up that whole area where the curb cut is.
Yep. Yeah, it does. Yep.
So you
I
would
don't
have to,
think
if,
anyone's occupying the house right now, though. Behind, Joe Zapone hasn't mentioned anybody living in the house that's on the lot also.
There
So
were
I'm
two
not sure if we
cars
could
there
use the
today.
parking behind the house.
Yeah, the problem
Sorry?
for us is that someone could occupy the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there were two vehicles there this evening when I came by, but you know, I think you know, if we can work
The
some-
property manager is staying there, I guess.
Is he? Yeah.
So yeah, he has a lot of stuff in there, like their landscaping stuff and everything is in there.
so if
That's
you did,
probably the
if you
vehicle.
did get onesie, twosie type of retail stopping by, you'd have to guide them through signage to park in the back. Is that a solution?
Yeah, absolutely. Make signs to park in the back. We could figure out how many spots we could fit. Honestly, like I said, I have one car, and then we probably wouldn't have more than 1 to 2 people in there at once. So less than 5 spots. Hopefully that would be able to fit back there. We'd be good with that. I would definitely put signage in if we could get it approved. Like I said, I just want to rent it. Like we would just be a tenant. We don't want to change anything. The landlord had said he hadn't had anybody in there in a long time, so we weren't really sure what we had to do to get in there.
Yeah, it's quite a walk around. I
Yeah.
don't know. I tried to see if that alley was accessible between the two buildings to see if you could park back there and then walk through that
Yeah.
alley. And it seems like that alley is blocked at the current time.
Okay.
But you know, I'd love to see with the board how we can get this how we can get you in here somehow.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
So, Adam, what was our intent with this project tonight? Well, let me go through the rest of the board. Ralph, are you good for now?
Yes.
Kurt, anything else?
So nothing else, thanks.
Chris?
So what is the building next door to it? I'm a little confused where this is then.
On the same property where the retail location is, there's a house right next to it in that blue square. To the right of it is another house. It's a residential. They're both residential. It's behind it is Corellis Drive.
Yeah.
As far as I knew, I'm not sure what's exactly across the street. It looks like just grass.
And the house is occupied by the person you're renting from?
I don't think anyone's occupying the house at this current time. It's owned by an estate. So it might have been at one point, but I don't think anyone's living in it right now. I think that the property manager, I believe his name is Cody, he's been hanging out. Like he has his stuff for the property inside the retail space. But I have no idea about the house. They haven't mentioned anything to me.
I see. And so what are your thoughts in terms of the signage that you'd put on your space? Are you looking to, since you're online only, would you have business signage?
Right now, we were just going to make like a vinyl sign and hang it inside the window. There's currently a vinyl sign already in the window that says like retail office space available. We would put the same, like pretty much the same sign inside the window. It would face the street. Just Cream Retro LLC, just to identify us. And we could put the parking signs in to draw people to the back to park. We could even, like, they would talk to us before they came right now because we're not open to the public. So we would instruct them to park in the rear and tell them where to go.
Okay. I know you said there's vinyl signage already there. I'm not a, a fan of that. Something that would be, more of a permanent placard that you could put inside a window, I think would be a more look.
Absolutely. Like I'm looking to grow my business and maximize my profits. So eventually I would love to purchase a sign to put in the window. You know what I mean? We just launched our website in January. But we've had online sales for about 3 years now. So I look to hopefully put in a permanent sign. I love the location. You guys have been very helpful with everything.
Great.
Is there anything else?
Nope, I'm all set. Thank you.
Don?
Yeah, my question is, this is going to be both online and an open retail sales area?
Yeah,
You got
so
the-
right now we sell vintage clothing online and we ship out of our apartment. So basically we would have the left side of the building be for the clothing racks and retail. And then there's the right side has a built-in desk and there's an area to the right where we could take photos of the clothing for the online retail. So the whole place wouldn't be like the store. It would like you walk in and then on the left, we would have the clothing that we were selling. And then on the right, there's like a block off. So customers wouldn't be able to go back like to our desk area and the other area on the right there.
How many customers would you be able to accommodate at one time?
On the left, I would say probably 2 to 3 to maintain social distancing. There is a lot of space inside to spread people out. There's 2 separate rooms that have lock and key that we could also use for storage.
Okay.
Yeah, probably 2 to 3, and then myself.
Okay.
With the I assume you use UPS or FedEx for shipping out and receiving?
I usually drop off at the post office, U.S. Postal Service. I haven't used FedEx or UPS. We're just like T-shirts, so they're less than a pound, first class shipping. I just usually drop them off to the post office.
Oh, okay. I was just worried about the trucks, box trucks were coming in and coming out. And how they
Yeah,
return.
I don't see us having any like big deliveries. I mean, if we do get the space to occupy, we would probably use like a regular truck to load our stuff in. We have like clothing racks and some lights and things, but we wouldn't have any UPS trucks coming to pick up stuff or like a loading truck to drop things off. Nothing like that. I think we're honestly going to get a P.O. box. That would probably help. Then we can go get the mail elsewhere. We wouldn't have anybody come into the property for that.
Don, do you have anything else?
No, I'm okay.
John Conway?
A few questions. Yeah, I just want to make sure what we're talking about here tonight is the property within the blue trapezoid or whatever it is there, right?
Yeah.
The two similarly sided properties. They look the same color, right?
Yeah, there's 2 properties next to each other. There's at 166.-3-9. That's our tax map. And then the building on the right, the rectangle, is the retail space. And then the house on the left is, I guess, not occupied, or, I mean, it's owned by the estate, but I don't honestly think there's anyone in there at this moment.
Yeah.
So you want,
You'd
it's
be
a
leasing.
it's a rectangular building with a flat roof that you want to lease from Joseph Home, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, he said that he owns the left side and then we would rent the right side building only, just that one part.
Yeah, things seem awfully tight there in a lot of ways. Do you know if the brick house if the lot line clearances are sufficient there? I mean, it's not your issue, but everything looks very close to me when I see it in real life.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the right side. I know you can get back a little farther on the right, but you cannot drive through that way. There's like some trees there, but I don't know how close it is.
The other issue I have here is the three curb cuts into 9 and 20, I think, on the property.
Yeah.
I don't know what can be done about that, and it's been
So would that be
mentioned.
something Zapone would have to deal with, or as
Yeah.
a renter, that would be something I
Well,
would
that's
have
what
to
I'm
deal
wondering,
with?
as this project
Yeah.
goes forward in the review, who's going to be responsible for addressing potential issues?
Right.
Ultimately,
So would any other retail space have to have that removed also? So anyone else looking to get in this place would also have to do that?
Not, well,
Or just because it's retail?
Hardcore Inc. didn't have to do it, I guess, so.
Right. Yeah, because I remember people parking on the right side of the building, like in the front when I used to go there, but there was no lines on the road or anything.
yeah, I guess I was a little curious
Yeah.
why this is even coming to us.
Yeah. We wouldn't be using any of the front for parking though. We would use just the back.
And
Yeah.
the
Right,
state,
I mean, this is actually the way the town prefers it, I think, as Adam, I think, pointed out in a memo he sent around today. They prefer not to see parking in front of the buildings in the B1 zone, and to have it as much as possible in back.
as far
That's
as
perfectly
the
okay with me.
sidewalks, I think the state just rehabbed the sidewalks all along 9 and 22, so I'd hate to
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
brand new out
be
there.
the reason to not change a curb cut, but a lot of money was spent.
To me, if you ever were to really go into full-scale retail, you would, I would think, be looking at moving somewhere else. That this just isn't a practical place for retail. For running an online business where it's just you and one car, I think it's actually a pretty effective use of this particular building because, it's fraught with so many parking problems that it's going to be problematic filling it with any other actual, bona fide retail.
Right, any retail.
Okay, I'm good. I think I got the picture. Thank you.
All right, thanks, John. Anyone else? So the intent tonight is just to set a classification on this project, site plan modification, not to approve it. But I think the comments tonight were pretty clear that the issues were parking and
Now, Matt,
And-
I just was thought of something looking through the zoning code and just kind of passed it through with Adam to get his feedback. Now, there are two kind of pathways the board can take. They can either require a full-blown site plan review, which is definitely appropriate in circumstances. And then there are other situations where the board can essentially determine that a project is limited in scope, compatible with land use, and then essentially just require certain things that they feel necessary at the site without really having to go through a full-blown site review. And did you pull that up, Adam? There you go.
yeah, he's got it.
So if you look at A, the board can determine that the project is limited in scope with compatible land use, site, and building design characteristics, thus requiring no further review under this article, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I know we've heard some talk about parking, signage. So I think, the board can definitely make some comments with those and have the applicant respond to them. But I don't know what the board's feelings are in terms of requiring a full-blown site plan review. Matt, Adam, does anyone else have comments on that, considering this is a, prime, residential vacant lot?
Yeah, my personal opinion is to not require it. To get, so we can fill another business along 9 and 20. To Chris's point, it's not, if it's more of an online business, I'm less concerned about the parking. We can go through again and get people's opinions. So I guess I'll ask Ralph again.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely for, just allowing her to answer a few of our questions in regards to, possibly putting a couple landscape pots out there, maybe with some plantings in the front, kind of dress up the front area, very similar to the the residential home does have little plantings on both sides of the doorway. I think something like that, some plycore signage, possibly with just a parking around back sign of some sort, something that looks presentable and not temporary. I think a few things like that, just to get Jessica in there and have her continue her business. I think it's great to see a vacant parcel being utilized, especially I think her particular venue works well online, very little traffic. So I'm definitely on board with that.
All right, great. Thanks, Ralph. Kurt?
Yeah, same thing. Let's get the lights lit in there.
All right.
Thank you.
Chris?
Yep, agreed. Like to see Jessica be able to move forward as easily as possible, and I agree with Ralph that, some signage that doesn't look temporary and a little bit of landscaping to brighten it up a little bit is, all that I'd like to see.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
John?
You're gonna have to stripe the parking lot though, right? Because cars won't know where to park when they go back there.
Yeah, I can definitely do that.
Yeah, because it'd be kind of a mess when they get in there. They're gonna have to know exactly where they can put the car and back it up and pull out. I mean, if they just pull in there,
Yeah.
it's not gonna be good. So you're gonna stripe it then.
Yes, we will.
Okay.
I'm making a list.
John Conway?
Yeah, I would agree that this whole thing is small in scope, and we don't have to make a big deal out of it. I mean, after all, Hardcore Inc. was in there operating a business. With, no problems that I heard of. Not that it's kind of an ideal situation. I think this is one of these terribly frustrating situations where Columbia Turnpike, you've got an obvious business property pretty closely sandwiched between two residences. And, I think we should be careful what we do here, but I'm not sure that we necessarily have to make the change and save the world and make all these changes right now. I wouldn't know where to start, so.
Yep. Yeah, I
I
think
think it's a good
eventually-
idea actually to try to move the parking to the back. I mean, that's one positive step if that can be done.
For sure. Yeah, and I don't know. I can't think of many uses, and maybe I'm just not thinking outside of the box enough that would be able to fit in this parcel or in this building, other than maybe an online business.
I'm curious who does own the home that's the 166.3-8 parcel. And if they had any ongoing issues with the tattoo place that the tattoo customers were pulling in and using their parking, their private parking and stuff.
I could ask Mazzone about it. I haven't heard anything about that. I'm honestly not even sure who's in the property. That's something I should find out.
Yep.
Her name is Lillian, and it really is a fence
Lillian.
that kind of divides that little wedge on the right side of the property. There is a wedge, so that really keeps the cars from going into her parcel to park. But
Yeah, there's like a little curb there. Little ledge.
correct. If it does
Yeah.
get crowded, they could possibly park there instead of on the other side of the blue line.
I see, yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully,
But like
they're-
I said, right now we're not retail, so I could tell them to go around the back. You know what I mean? If someone did park there, I could tell them to not park there,
Right.
Since we're not really big.
Even your signage, to Ralph's point, could have your business name and underneath parking around back, right on your sign.
Yeah, that's perfect.
hopefully the neighbors are big into vintage clothing.
Right? Everybody is. There's really not anywhere around here that does that. It's really all online now. So
No, I think it's a neat concept for sure.
thank you.
So Adam, can you pull up that section of the zoning law that you had up there before.
So Joe, are we
So-
still going to vote on something tonight?
Yeah, so I think if you look at C, I think that would probably fit best with what the board's intent is here. That look, it doesn't require a full-blown review, but there's still some outstanding items that the board wants to see. So essentially, the planning board can require additional sketch plan information consistent with the comments the board made tonight, prior to making a determination regarding the applicability of the site plan review and procedures moving forward. So if they were to address the comments that the board made tonight at a future meeting, then the board could approve it subject to letter A there and not require a full-blown site plan review.
Okay, so we won't vote on anything tonight, and we'll wait until the next meeting.
Well, I would make a resolution that the planning board accepted the sketch plan and requires additional sketch plan information consistent with the board's comments prior to making a determination regarding the excuse me, applicability of the site plan review and approval procedures. So language consistent with C.
All right, can you
Just
text
to
me-
let them know, just to let them know the applicant's on the right tracks. There's just a few outstanding items that the board wants to see prior to making a determination consistent with A. Does that make sense?
Sounds good.
Joe, I guess I'm a little confused. Is Jessica going to need to submit a new sketch plan though? Or what is
Well,
what's the additional
yeah, I think-
information? I don't want to make this too difficult for her.
No, nobody does, but I think Don had asked for striping in the back, perhaps some information about signage. And I think somebody had requested some landscaping pots, so maybe just the location of the landscaping pots.
So Joe, can you just text me something, and I'll just, if Jessica has 3 minutes, I'll just continue on to some of the other business, and we can then come back to this.
Yeah.
Okay. Jessica, is that okay? You have a couple minutes just to hang on?
Yeah, I'm here for you guys. Thank you.
No, we're here for you, Jessica. Don't worry.
I appreciate that.
Okay, so Joe's gonna send me a text with that resolution, and then we will, or email, whatever, and then we'll go from there. So in the interest of time, we have two new ZBA referrals, ZBA Appeal 2021-03 Nettinger, 1266 Best Road for an area variance for a solar array. Anyone want to take that one? No one? Anyone?
I know the family, so I don't think I should take it.
Kurt's out.
I did the last one. That's kind of my excuse.
All right, John's out.
Maybe I know the family.
When is this one due?
Allison, do you know? You're on mute.
The 14th, the next meeting.
14th, yeah, I may not be here the 14th. That's a problem.
You could still do it and send it in though, and then the board can just vote on your report, right, Matt?
That's fine with me.
Okay, yes,
So wait, is that an okay?
yeah.
Peer pressured you into it.
Yeah,
I'll send you the information tomorrow, Chris, okay?
okay,
Just think of all the money you're gonna get from that extra trip to.
yeah. Woo-hoo.
And then the other one we have is
Nice some of Jessica's t-shirts.
yeah. Oh, the other one we have is 2012-04 Craw 45 Acorn Ave, which is the project we saw earlier about the driveway access. Any takers?
I'll switch with you, Chris. I'll take it.
Thank you, Ralph. Very gracious of you.
Ralph, I'll get you that application as soon as I get it from the CROG.
All right, so yeah, thank you guys both for taking those. Oh, just while we're on the topic, because I realized we only have 6 of us. Anyone send me someone you think might be a good member for the planning board, if anyone that lives in town who would be interested, because I think the town board's going to be looking pretty soon to take Jim Moore's spot. All right, so back to Jessica. So I'm going to make a motion that the planning board hereby accepts the sketch plan, determines the action to be a type 2 seeker action, hereby requires additional sketch plan information consistent with the board's comments prior to the board making a determination regarding the applicability of the site plan review and approval procedures in accordance with section 4.3.1.b.3 of the town's comprehensive zoning law. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Viola.
Roll call as follows, Chairman Maston,
Yes.
Mr. Viola,
Yes.
Mr. Bergman,
Yes.
Ms. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Panton,
Yes.
Mr. Conway.
Yes.
Motion carried by 6-0 vote.
Jessica, thank you very much. We'll see you soon.
Thank you so much. I look forward to hearing from you.
Yep, have a great night.
You too.
Next, we'll move on to the March 10th, 2021 meeting minutes. Any comments or questions? Excuse me.
Check the light on the top of the computer. Does it show the monitor?
Nothing? Allison, very well done. With that, I'll make a motion to, who can everyone vote? That'll make a motion to approve the March 10th, 2021 meeting minutes. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Oh, Mr. Panton got Mr. Bergman by a second. Kurt, we can't use sign language. You gotta speak up.
All right.
Roll call as follows, Chairman Maston,
Yes.
Mr. Viola,
Yes.
Mr. Bergman,
Yes.
Ms. Horn,
Yes.
Mr. Panton,
Yes.
Mr. Conway.
Yes.
Motion carried by 6-0 vote.
All right. Anyone got anything else? Questions? Comments? All I know is I'm not going to sleep tonight because it's my first ever split vote on any planning board resolution.
Sorry, Matt. That's how I feel.
It's all right. I accept it. It's a democracy.
Maybe we'll start.
I think you should be proud of it.
An impeachment process.
You please. My wife would love that.
I think a year from now, you're going to say, boy, he was right about that.
I probably will.
But I don't think I told you so.
On that project, though, I mean, we're not voting for it to go, he's still got to come back to us after the town approves it, right? Or is that just a go? My understanding was if we said no to the extent.
If we said no, it would have been approved automatically.
Would have been done anyway. I know. I let my emotions rule me. Sorry.
All right, Ralph. It's like a cup of coffee. I'm going to be staring at the ceiling until about 3 a.m.
There's always a first, Matt. Sorry.
That's all right.
Well, Ralph, once you made your position known and then I clarified what the extension was for, I knew you weren't going to go back on what you said, so I don't blame you.
Yeah, no, that was a helpful clarification, Joe. I wish there was a way that we could discuss the pond situation. If he's saying he's going to fix the irrigation in it, is that something that's not part of the project? So we really can't dictate anything formally, can we?
No, and if we're going to have that discussion, maybe me and you can have that offline.
Yeah.
Yeah, regardless if he's if he's the property owner, that's a difficult thing to enforce if they're 2 separate lots.
I'd like to go back and Adam, I don't want you to spend a lot of time, but I'd like to go back to that original proposal that they had. I could have swore it encompassed the house, and because that roadway originally was going to come out right alongside his house, the existing house that's there. And I was always under the impression that that whole thing included the house, the pond, he wanted the acreage in the back for the church. I don't know if were you with us, Adam, then? So I was kind of taken back with the fact that it wasn't included in this PPP.
Yeah, this has been kicking around since 2014. Adam, you've been around for 2 years, 3 years.
It feels like more.
I bet it does.
Yeah, but even in my time on the board, I thought that the pond, the discussions had been that the pond was part of the project.
They are installing wetland mitigation, I think just directly to the north on the adjacent parcel. So that may do something to improve water quality, and that's a requirement of their Army Corps permit there.
Yeah, but to Ralph's point, I recall it being included in this project too.
Do you
if
think
we get to that point in the 14th and they're still not ready, I'm going to be inclined to vote no, to not extend them, or to vote the project down, vote against the project. Not for any time extension, because that would, if we did another 45, if we're voting on another 45-day time extension, then it would get approved anyway. I would probably put a resolution up or a motion up that we just not approve the project, however that look, whatever that looked like. I know I said this before, but now this is the last time I ever want to see this project.
Ralph, do you know if that was that one of the first site plans or subdivision plans? Do you think that they submitted?
Yeah, because it's been something that I brought up almost not every meeting, but quite a few meetings. It was brought up. Matter of fact, one of the last extensions, I mentioned a pond, and they told me that it was going to be taken care of. And I know we're still streaming. I believe we're still streaming, but that applicant has not lived there one day since he's purchased that property. And I'll make that public.
Well, I don't know if you have to recuse yourself or not, Ralph, but it seems like you should also be able to speak as a neighbor.
Well, that's whatever. It's just not right.
Yeah.
So.
There may also be, restrictions on what he can do there, depending on the type of I think it's mainly a drainage way, probably kind of more in a bowl there, and that the other portion of the site drains more to the north. But, depending on the classification, and that should all be in the plans, there may be restrictions on what he can do with that. And, the other thing too, is it drains right across the road. And Chris, I think back, like Hartfield Court area, and there's some drainage challenges through there as well.
Yeah, I mean, we brought up the drainage challenges a long time ago on this. And I assume that's part of what, the town engineers are going through the review process right now, looking at everything, the comprehensive plan for it.
Yeah, the response to that tends to be, the New York State DEC requirements are that you don't increase the quantity of water or decrease the quality by treating it at the various discharge points. So they compare the pre and post discharge volumes. There's an engineering analysis. And so that's typically the answer that that you would get there, unless there was something specific, that was identified, and I don't believe that really hasn't been part of the discussion. I don't remember seeing anything in there that says if we did this, it would store more water, that type of thing. I think the response is the standard response is, we're meeting the New York State DEC requirements.
So Adam, for that meeting on the 14th, I think is that a meeting night, the 14th?
Yeah.
So let's have 2 resolutions ready, one to deny the project and one to approve it.
All right, will do. And we'll have Henry LaBarba here too, the TDE, to talk through some of the comments. Does that make sense to you guys?
Does to me.
I'd like to know, like I said, I don't want to spend a lot of time, but I'd like to just go back and research and see. I could have swore that parcel and the pond was part of the first proposal.
Ralph, we'll get back to you on that.
Thank you.
Welcome.
All right, anything else?
What, quickly, the planning, so comp plan, town board rescheduled the public hearing for April 14th that evening to discuss modifications that the board is making to the plan that was, I think, dated December 2020. And then secondly, we're hiring for a planner. We received a really high volume of applications, and we're going to start setting up interviews next week. I think we got like 45 maybe applications.
Great.
45?
Yeah, and hire a pretty good candidate pool.
A lot of Albany kids?
Yeah, and also, we advertised on Indeed, so you get, that reduces the cost of applying. Ralph's shaking his head. You use Indeed, Ralph?
Oh yeah, I've used
it got the word out there, but so we've got some candidates from, I think, from Florida. I believe there's one from the Carolinas, one from Wisconsin. So there's a few from out of state too, which is, we did get candidates last time from out of state. I think mostly because of Indeed. We advertise on Planetizen too, which is like a national kind of planners blog listserv type thing.
Wow. That's good news. All right, anything else?
Not from me. Thanks. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, everybody.
With that, I'll make a motion to close the meeting. Right, Joe?
Yeah, let you do it yourself there.
Second.
Second, we got a second from Mr. Bergman. All in favor, say aye, but also raise your hand. Aye.
Aye.
All right, everyone have a great night. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.